Hey, just a heads up that the following content may be disturbing or triggering for some listeners and is not appropriate for children. Please take care of yourself and others who may be listening with you. Welcome to the Bonus Babies podcast, a show that has no easy answers, only hard questions.
For me, it's about not failing. For me, it's just like I refuse to let myself be anything less than.
Can you tell me what you call the kids who you've cared for over the years?
We feel that the children that we receive coming into our home are bonuses. So we call them bonus babies.
I love that. This is your host, Jayne Amelia Larson, and I'm a CASA volunteer, a court-appointed special advocate for youth in foster care. Yeah, I know it's a mouthful. In the same way a CASA works, I explore all things in the foster care maze by talking to kids, parents, caregivers, attorneys, social workers, therapists, anybody and everybody who will speak to me to keep the conversation open and the information flowing about all things CASA. My guest today is Toni Cunningham. He's a former foster youth. He's a TAY. Whatever he sets his mind to, he gets done. He's a college student about to graduate from Cal State Northridge. He's a social activist. He is a rollerblader. He's a podcaster, and he's a self-described bad bitch. And I gotta say, I agree with him. He's a bad bitch. Hi, I am here with Toni Cunningham. Hi, Toni. Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being on my podcast. And I'm not going to do anything except hear you talk. So just tell me about yourself. Who are you?
Okay, I'm doing good. I'm Toni. I am a former foster youth, currently in school at Cal State Northridge, working on my bachelor's in recreation and tourism management. And I'm just here living life.
Cool. And you're also working on a podcast, which we're going to talk about later on, right? So if I don't bring it up...
Yeah, I do also have a podcast too.
Okay, good. Because if I don't bring it up, I want you to remind me, all right? Okay, I just want you to know that I really love your closet. It's like really super organized and beautiful, and everything is, by color, and it's just gorgeous. I want to live in it.
And when I'm on Zoom calls for meetings and work, everybody's so distracted by my closet. The chats are going up like, wow, Toni, your closet's so clean. Wow, Toni, I want your closet. And I'm like, pay attention to the meeting, please. I don't want to be deemed a distraction.
It is beautiful though. Okay. I don't think you're aware of this, but sometimes I would just watch you move and, just watch you walk, because you have this it's like a dance move, slide, sideways move that takes you forward in a very graceful way. And were you never aware that I would just watch you move?
Nah. I need to be more vigilant. But I call it, I say that I was born with a disease, and it's called a bad bitch disease. And it's just like, people always comment on my walking. It's just like, I would not be able to tell you that I was walking a different way. I think that I'm walking just like every average Joe down the street. But that's not it.
So other people have remarked on this.
Yeah, that you're not the first person.
It's like a dance move, but it's like a continuous dance move that you're like when you walk across a room. It's pretty entrancing. So you told me that you were born insecure. What does that mean?
I mean, saying that, I just feel like coming into this world, I wasn't wanted. And I think knowing that, it just stemmed, like rooted feeling of just like insecurity, because it started just like at birth. Like as soon as I popped out, it was just like, you're not wanted.
Right. So what happened to you at birth?
So my mother, she was doing drugs, and she decided once she was discharged from the hospital that she was going to throw me away. And that's what she did. So I was found in the back of the hospital.
Wow. But somebody found you.
Amen. Yeah, somebody found me. Thank the Lord. Lord knows who would have happened, what would have happened if nobody found me in the back of that hospital.
Right. And then what happened to you? You went into foster care?
Yep. So it was, after I was found, Department of Children and Family Services were called and whatnot. And from that point on, my life in the system began.
What is your earliest childhood memory?
I recall being placed in a home with my two siblings, my two older sisters, with a woman who wasn't, with a woman who was emotionally, physically, and verbally abusive.
And this was your foster mom?
Yeah. Someone that the state put us with.
Wow. Somebody who was supposed to take care of you.
Right. And it went on for, I want to say, about 6 to 7 years. I was not out of that home until the age of like 7. And after I was born, I was like immediately placed there with siblings. So, we could grow up together and whatnot. So, yeah.
Right. And you lived with your older sister for a bit too, right? In Texas?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we did.
What happened there?
She was also physically and emotionally and verbally abusive. But we initially went to move with her due to the fact that she was kin to us. And we thought it would be good for us to be with someone who we are related to. But unfortunately, it wasn't the best situation for us. She was 21 at the time, same age I am, trying to take care of 3 children.
3 little kids.
3 little badass kids. And it was just like, it was a lot, I would say. If I was put in that situation, I know I would be under a lot of stress. Now, I'm not saying what she did was right, but because it will not be right, was not right. But it just wasn't a good situation for all of us. She needed to live her life and do what she had to do to make sure that she was okay. And I think we needed to do the same thing. Not with each other, though.
Right. So then you were sent back to California and back into foster care with the same mom?
Yeah. So after we were removed from that house, from our sister's house in Texas, we were brought back to California and placed with the same woman who was physically in the extensive abuse. I'm going to get tired of saying verbally, physically, and emotionally abusive. But yeah, we were placed back with her for a short amount of time. It was like a tit for tat thing. We called the police on our sister and whatnot. And that's how we were taken out of her home. And she decided that she was going to like snitch on the other foster parent. Because we told, we were very candid with her about what happened and what had went on in that house. So once...
Wow. Wait a minute. So your sister didn't give you up. You called the cops on your sister because she was not taking care of you, or rather abusing you. Yeah,
both neglect and just the abuse. It was like we were at our breaking point. And as interesting and fucked up it may sound, we were making plans to like, not off her, but like get us out of there. Like we were making plans to tie her ass up and deuces, see you later. So
and escape, right?
Yeah, she's lucky we got to the police first before we got to her, because if we would have got to her, Lord knows what would have happened.
Wow. And then once you're back in California, because she knows you had a hard time with that foster mom, she reports that foster mom.
Yeah. So then we were there for probably like no longer than a week when we got back. And then we were removed from that home and placed into another.
And that was Queen's home? Is that Queen? Mm-hmm. Right. And then you stayed with her? After we were
taken out of that home, I've been there since 7 to now. I've adopted them as my family.
Yeah. So you say you adopted them, not they adopted you, but you adopted them.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I mean, when you're a product of the system, when you're considered a ward of the state, I just feel like there's this price tag or something on you that is just like you're necessarily up for sale. There's like up for grabs. I was like, I was a property of the state, like a park bench, like a park, like anything in the state. I felt like I was like being sold to like the highest bidder. And it was just like, oh, do you want this kid? I just never liked it, that whole process, and just the wording and the verbiage of just like how it goes. These families, who knows if these families, like if you want to be adopted into these families, like you want to include yourself into these families, whose decision is that? Who's to say like that's what you wanted to do, So it's like, I'm taking control over my life.
Right. And nobody asked you?
Nobody, they're not going to ask you questions. They can, but it's just like, do they really care though? Are they asking to really understand where you're coming from and really take your opinion into account? Or are they asking just to be like nice and just like,
Right. They just want you to agree with them, maybe. Right.
Right.
How many social workers did you have? Did you have one the whole time, or?
I could not even tell you the amount of social workers I had. Out of like during my college years, I've had about just like one per year. They've switched off one per year.
One per year. One per year.
One per year. So each year, freshman year, I had a worker. And then sophomore year, I had a new worker. Junior year, I got a new one. I would probably say about like 15 to 20 different workers.
And did you have any that you had a good relationship with, or who you felt heard you? Or
I feel like towards during my college years, those workers, yeah, they were moving around a lot, but they were the first ones that I felt were 100% just like genuine and wanted to see me succeed and wanted the best for me. And no shade, no tea, no shade to any of the workers out there, because I know that y'all job is hard. Like, they overwork y'all. Your caseloads are mad heavy. And I know a lot of the issues are not because of the worker themselves, but just the policies in place and the rules that need to be followed. But I think my ones in college were more helpful than all of the other ones could have been. But I think it's because as I grew older, it was just like, fuck them. They work for me. I'm paying your salary. I'm the reason, like, y'all are going to do what I want y'all to do. You work for me.
right. So what was your life with Queen like? What was your adolescence like? What was the house like?
I felt like it was a nice home compared to the two before. It was something that was totally different. Being so young and being the youngest out of me and my two sisters.
Right. And they were with you, right?
Yeah. So we all moved as a unit.
That's rare, That's really rare.
Very rare. And that was a lot for somebody to take in 3 kids. And, it's just like, you may want one, but 3, that's a lot to handle. I just felt like the house was just like rainbows and unicorn shit. I was just like amazed by like everything. And this is what a real home is supposed to be. This is what having your own room looks like. This is what having a birthday party is. I recall this time when we threw you a surprise party and you can do nothing but just fucking cry. And it was just like, yeah, that's disgusting, like cringy moment. Yes. But I'm sitting in front of this table, all these people, presents in front of me, delicious looking cake. And I'm sitting here just like bawling. And when I was asked, why are you crying? It was like, I've never had a real birthday party before. At the age of like 7 or 8, I got what I feel like I needed out of the house. Like, I was inserted into their family and I just felt like we were all just one, a unit of family.
Right. When you say their family, Queen's family, did she have other kids too?
Had 2 biological daughters when we moved in at the time. And we all got along, I mean, not amazingly.
Wow.
There's always quarrels and...
Yeah, it's still a family, right? There's always going to be, there's fights, there's problems, but you did feel like you were a family.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not lucky to be a youth in care, but you sound like you're a little bit like one of the lucky ones.
I did get the better end of the stick when it comes to finding a nice home.
Mm-hmm. And you have no contact with your mom or with your dad?
I still to this day have no clue who my sperm donor is.
Sperm donor, right? Yeah.
And yeah, I do not have contact with my mother. I choose to not have contact. She actively tries to have contact, but it's a no-go for me.
You don't want to try to do that.
I don't have the time nor the energy to just put up with it. I can't see myself giving up 7 children and then trying to just like come back into their lives and like have a relationship with them knowing what I did. It's not like I got a little thump on the head. It was like, nah, you fumbled. It's no coming back. Not for me. And you don't deserve respect from me. And I'm not going to give it to you. I'm always one to show them utmost amount of respect that I can to a point. And it's just like, I can't necessarily be around you and show you the amount of respect that you feel like you deserve.
You mean, so in a way, it's almost like you're protecting her then, Toni?
Not necessarily, because it's just like I'm done with that part of my life of going up on people and like treating bitches like they're just some random bitch off the street. Because I can. Like, I can be like a rude, mean bitch. I do have that. I do have that inside of me, but it's just like I'm trying to stem away from that part of myself and whatnot. So it's just like, in order just for me to just keep my cool, I'm just going to avoid situations, you know?
I remember one time when I was at dinner, at the family dinner at Peace for Kids, and you said something about how, you know what, there's no excuse. I took 3 buses to get here and I'm here. So, I mean, I've just seen that about you, that you are super, super resilient and you just like, you're going to do what you're going to do and do whatever it takes. How did you get that way? What is that all about?
For me, it's about not failing. For me, it's just like I refuse to let myself be anything less than. I've seen so many people go through the foster care system and not come out successful. I've seen so many people, you know, turn their life over to drugs, turn their life over just to things that are not going to do what they're supposed to do for you. And it's just like, I refuse to let myself hit a point like that. I refuse to be my mother. I refuse to be these things that I've seen. I've seen so many people just not succeed in life. And it's just like, I've been through so much shit to where it's just my time to like not get the short end of the stick. It's my time to be that bitch.
And did you have this always when you were a kid, or did it click later on, these convictions? Did it click for you, or you think this was like growing? Or
it for sure was a clicker. I think for a very long time I was stuck in that like insecure mindset of like, I am not wanted and whatnot. That stuck with me for a very, very long time. One day it was just like, no, fuck that. Fuck that. I refuse to just like treat myself like shit. Not me. I can't treat myself like shit because I'm not going to let nobody else treat me like shit. You know, I'm still working on not trying to treat myself like shit. You know, my therapist still tells me to be nice to Toni, but, you know, it's a work in progress.
Yeah, and I know that you work really hard in school, don't you?
Who are you telling?
And you took 3 buses to get to that dinner. I mean, I think it took you 2 hours, you said, right?
Yeah, I'm going to do what I got to do. If I want to get somewhere, car, no car, I'm going to get there. If I want to be there, I will make sure there's a way. If there is a will, there is a goddamn way.
Right. And I think I asked you, why didn't you just ask somebody for a ride? You said, no, I was getting there on my own.
I've been let down so many times by so many people who are in these high positions and whatnot. It's just like, I can't even give you that time to just like let me down. I can't even give you the opportunity to let me down, even if it is for a ride, because I'm going to be irritated because you're not giving what you're supposed to give.
Right. So is that because you want to control it? Because you know if you can control it, then you can win.
Yes. That's exactly why I do need to be in control.
Well, otherwise people disappoint you, they let you down, they fail you, and then make you a failure. You're like, no, it's going to happen my way because I know I can do it.
And if it doesn't happen, and if I don't do it, whose fault? It's mine. The only person to blame, it'll be on me. The only person to be mean to will be me. I don't need to go off on anybody else but myself.
So you can own the blame too. So that's like true accountability. You're going to own the success and you're going to own the failure.
Yep.
Okay, so tell me about your sexual identity. How do you call yourself?
I am a Black, cis, same gender loving male.
And are you in love right now?
I'm in love with myself.
Oh, nice. That's the best answer. If you can be in love with yourself, then anything can happen, right?
Right.
So, okay, that's great. And I've seen you with little kids. I think it was
my 2 younger brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, you're such a good daddy. I mean, it's so sweet. And you didn't have that kind of role model, right?
No, not necessarily. I mean, actually, I did kind of have, not in like a homey type of way, but I think, you know, with me going to Peace for Kids, I started Peace for Kids when I moved with Queen, which was when I was like 7.
Wow, you were there that long. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm 21 now, guys, so I've been with Peace for Kids and Queen for a cool minute.
It's awesome.
But I think just seeing Zaid and just seeing the different volunteers, and I ain't saying all of them are good and all of them are doing what they're supposed to be doing, but just seeing just like the love and whatnot that I received from Peace for Kids, for sure, it was just like, this is how children should be treated. This is how this is supposed to go. So for sure, working with youth, I think I followed in Zaid's footsteps when it came to the way that you interact with youth and just what you say to them. For sure, the biggest inspiration on my work with youth.
And you are majoring in the hospitality industry, or what's the correct term? What's it called for you?
Recreation and tourism management.
Right. And I know you're going to be so good at it because you just have a personality that shines and you just connect with people really easily. I think probably whether you like them or not, you kind of turn it on like a 1,000-watt bulb. I've seen that.
It's a skill.
It's a skill. Right. It's a learned skill, right?
A hard one.
So it's like this fantastic, brightly lit persona that you put on. It will probably send you around the world.
Point. When I was looking for majors and whatnot, it was just like, I refuse to go into something that I know I'm going to hate. I don't have a lot of money. So it's just like paying tuition for something that I don't want to do just does not seem smart to me. Does not seem like a good financial thing. So it was just like, if I'm going to come into this university, I'm going to come in with a decided major, and I want it to be something fun for me. And I want it to be something that's going to be easy because I'm not trying to come to school and work my ass off, even though that's what I'm doing. This wasn't the goal. Came here to do a little work and party. But I can't do anything with math. I'm not a mather. I'm not a sciencey person either. So it was just like, find the most simple but intriguing and interesting major that you feel like you would succeed in. And I did so much research on the hospitality field, and I was just like, this is screaming Toni. This is screaming you. And I started taking classes.
Yeah, I can totally imagine it. You're going to be working at, the Four Seasons in like Maui or the Ritz-Carlton in Paris or anywhere in the world. And you'll be really, really good at it. I'm sure of it.
And then I'll get my feet wet around the world, and I'll come back with my money and start buying plots of land so we can work at the Toni.
Oh, okay. So there's more to the plan. Let me hear that part too.
Well, the big main goal is to have my own chain of hotels and resorts. I am not trying to work for the white man, not for the. I'm trying to be the man at the top. It's a Toni corporation.
The Toni Corporation or a Toni Corporation?
We'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah, that's right. You figure it out later. But it definitely has Toni in the title.
Yeah, there has to be my name somewhere in there.
Well, I like the pun too. That it's your name, but it's something that is very desirable. Something that is Toni is something that's cool and hot and beautiful and trendy and
sexy.
Yeah, and sexy and
round.
Yeah. Did you just growl?
I did.
Okay, I want to go back to your sexual identity again. So was that a problem in the house or with your family or with Queen?
It was, but it wasn't something we couldn't get over. It was an obstacle, but it wasn't a wall. Mm-hmm. I think for me, I've always known I was same gender loving. I keep saying same gender loving, Jayne and listeners, because I learned. I'm gonna educate y'all real quick. As a person of color, we just shouldn't be but claiming ourselves as gay and lesbian because it's a more of a Eurocentric term. When you think of someone who's gay, you automatically think of this femme white man. So it's just like I'm not gay. I'm same gender loving. But I've always known I was same gender loving. And it was just like, for me, I had to come to terms with it myself. And I had to work on loving myself for who I was and who I am before coming out and before sharing that. But it's not like it was something that could be hidden. Like, I exude bad bitch. It's just like, so everybody already knew I was same gender loving, but it was just like, we're going to let him tell us on our own terms. But it for sure was a conversation that's been brought up multiple times. We've had sit downs, and she told me that when I finally did come out, she said, it's not necessarily what I want for you, but I still love you at the end of the day. Like, it was nothing that she could have did. So it was just like, you got to get with it or get lost.
Right. Well, and you are you. And so in the end, she accepted you for who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so As you look back on your childhood, how do you feel about it? You shared a little bit, but I'm just curious what else you got going on.
It makes me angry looking back at it because first of all, I'm a bad bitch. And it's just like I did not deserve to be treated the way that I was treated. It was just like unacceptable. And then I'm also angry at the fact that I was let down by so many people who I not looked up to, but who I expected to like have my back and be there for me. It was just like so many of these adults let me down. So it's just a lot of anger.
So you mean all these adults that were essentially paid to take care of you, right? Are you talking about those people as well as probably family?
As well as family, just like a collection of parents, foster parents, guardians, social workers, judges, lawyers, all of those people. They all let me down.
Did you ever speak for yourself in court and say what you wanted? Did you have that chance?
I don't recall ever being able to say anything. I know I was young, but I don't recall ever being able to have a say so in what was going on in my fucking life. It's trifling.
And have you ever heard about the CASA program? Because I'm a CASA, right?
No. I never heard of the CASA program until I was until I started working with foster youth. That's when I started hearing about the CASA program.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about it either until I started actually volunteering at Peace for Kids. I hadn't heard about it either. And the idea of the CASA is that they are the child's voice in court. It's their job to listen to the child and what the child wants, and to also find out what's going on in the child's life to help make decisions and recommendations for the child based on what the child wants. The word advocate actually means voice because kids in the system don't have a voice.
Right.
And there's a lot of people paid to take care of them. Do you wish you had had a CASA?
I mean, yeah, that would have been nice, but it's just like, would that have been beneficial?
Like one more adult, right?
But yeah, it would have just been like another person to have the opportunity to let me down.
Ah, really?
I think I just had a large amount of adults in my life. I don't think I could have handled another one. Just the getting pulled out of class and just like having to go see all these different people,
Yeah, like getting pulled out of class to meet with your therapist or behavioral therapist or social worker or your research teacher.
Right. That's embarrassing because then you come back or, before you leave, everybody's like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to go talk to my therapist because the court thinks that I'm crazy.
And have you ever been on any medication? Have you been prescribed anything?
I do recall like when I was younger being on medication for ADHD, but I'm one to bend the rules and I know how to get out of things. So I would take my pills to school and I would pop them in front of the children and and scare the teachers and whatnot. So then I eventually got taken off of them. But I'm a firm believer in you don't need those pills to do nothing. They're just a way of the man trying to keep you down and control you.
Yeah, I wonder about that too. I think a lot of kids, especially the ones in care, they're over-medicated just to keep them manageable or
sedated. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that too. So how's your relationship with your sisters now, the ones that you live with?
Right now, we're estranged while doing our thing. Our relationship it's okay, like any other family. We all have our quarrels and squabbles and whatnot. But I think we have an okay relationship.
Mm-hmm. And you don't know any of your other older siblings, right?
I know. So I know I have about 7 siblings altogether. Mm-hmm. I know, my older sister, the one who lives in Texas, who was abusive to us. And then I have an older brother who was in and out of jail. And then I have my 2 sisters who are, who I live with. And then there's me, I believe. And then I believe there's like 1 or 2 more underneath me.
And that older brother who's been in and out of jail, I remember you saying to me at one point, I am not going to end up like that. That is not going to be me.
Yeah. He's one of those people who I say, when I say, I've seen so many people just like fuck their life over. He's one of those people who have fucked their life over.
And what would you say right now to a kid who is in care, who is having a hard time?
These questions always stump me.
The reason why I'm asking you that is because I see this incredible adaptability and resiliency and drive in you. And I would love to think that there's a kid listening right now and that kid might hear you.
Know that you're not alone. It may feel like you're the only one going through it. It may feel like you're just all by yourself. You're not. There are so many people who you would never know who are going through the same thing you are, and they made it out. I ain't saying everybody's gonna make it out and not fuck up. There is some type of light at the end of the tunnel. I ain't saying that shit bright. I ain't saying it's gonna be pretty and whatnot when you get to it, but there is some light. Hang in there. Mistakes are going to be made, and that's A-okay. Make those mistakes. They're nothing but lessons for you to learn from. I think there's just such a stigma when it comes to foster youth and their mental health. It's just like, yeah, I get that, being taken away from your family is traumatizing. I understand that what these foster youth have experienced is traumatizing, and we may need to work on it. But trying to have youth 7, 8 years old, forcing them into therapy and whatnot, and, the whole pills and whatnot, it just doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't seem right at all. It fucks with people in the long run, because for me personally, it's just like I was forced into therapy at 7. Being forced into therapy, it was just like I developed a vendetta against therapists. I never got what I was supposed to really get out of it because I was so angry that I was being forced to go to therapy. And when it came time for me to like, okay, I'm older now. I understand that I have PTSD. I understand that I have hyperactive anxiety. I need to talk to somebody. But it was just like, I still had that stigma and that hate for these mental health therapists because I was forced to do it. And it's just like, y'all not thinking about that when y'all forcing these 7, 8-year-olds when it comes to them being 20 and 21, and they really need to actively seek it out. But they're like, fuck no, like,
I think that's really important what you're saying. No, it's really super important. All right. So tell me about the podcast. What are you doing?
So I have the podcast, Tea Time with Toni.
In Time with Tone?
Tea Time with Toni.
Tea Time with Toni.
On a spot of tea with Toni.
Spot of tea with Toni.
And on it, I do episodes every Friday at 12 p.m. And I just talk about things that I feel like need to be talked about, whether it's taboo, whether it's not taboo. I talk about it all. I share my experiences as a openly sane, gender-loving, cis Black male in America in the higher education system. It's very, very vulgar.
Really?
I tried to tone it down for Jayne.
I'm going to check it out. Wait a minute. No, you can listen. This is all ages.
See, mine is not
good.
all ages. Mine is 18 and up.
Okay, I should say 18 up. This is 18 up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine's for sure 18 and up.
It's your show. You can just so where can we find this podcast?
We can find it on Amazon Music, iTunes, and Spotify.
Excellent.
I also do a little mini series on there as well. Sip and Drag. It's a drag race. For my drag race fans out there, I do a drag race review as well.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool. All right. So what is the one thing that someone would never know about you unless you told them? I ask this of all my guests, and I'm looking for something that really nobody would know unless you told them. It doesn't need to be something embarrassing, by the way. It can be just something.
I think something nobody knows about me is like I'm like a introvert, I think. Everybody, I think a lot of people see me as like a extrovert. I mean, I think I'm maybe on the line, but I'm for sure a loner, so to speak.
That's interesting.
Everybody always tells me like I have, I'm always out, I'm always having so much fun, but it's just like, it's funny that you all say that. That's just that's what you all see. But 95% of the time, I'm at home in my room, in the bed. I I don't do a lot. I like to keep to myself.
I would never have known that because when I first met you, Peace for Kids, you were super smiley and friendly and welcoming and seemed to exhibit all the qualities that a very big extrovert does. And you're saying that really you're the opposite.
I think so. Yeah.
I want to thank you for talking to me today, Toni.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I really like Toni's message that mistakes are going to be made. They have been made, and you're going to make more. We're all going to make more. But that is A-okay because you can learn from them. And there's Toni. He just goes for what he wants. It's pretty awesome. If you see something, say something. If you suspect that a child's health or safety is jeopardized in any way by parents or anyone else, contact the Child Protective Services Agency in your county. 24-hour hotlines are staffed by trained social workers who will help you through the process, and you can do so anonymously. In California, you can call the Child Protection Hotline at 800-540-4000. And right now in COVID, reports of abuse and neglect are down by 50%. And that's not because it's not happening. It's because kids are not in school, and their teachers and other adults, mandated reporters, aren't seeing them. So if you see something, say something. You might be saving a child's life. And if you're an older kid in trouble, check out pennylane.org. They offer a safe place for homeless and LGBTQ youth who need some help. And if you're a kid in care who wants a casa, you can ask for one. In Los Angeles, go to casala.org, and anywhere else in the nation, go to nationalcasagal.org, and you can get one. I want to thank the supremely talented Christina Apostolopoulos for her beautiful music, Eferisto. To hear more of her music, go to Spotify and Instagram at Christina Aposto. That's CHRISTINAAPOSTO. I know you want to. Her stuff is really great. And thanks to my audio producer extraordinaire, Marcos Campito. I'm glad I found you. Thanks for listening, and if you like what you hear, please rate us and hit subscribe.